let's talk about K-pop, and probably not the type of K-pop you're talking about or you're thinking about, right?
Yeah.
So Tiffany Chin here, your LA realtor. Welcome to this week's Small Business Spotlight. A pandemic, a movement towards social justice. We've been persevering through quite a bit this year, and local businesses of all kinds have been forced to get creative and pivot during these times. So we at Tiffany Chin Real Estate want to do our part in helping to give back to the community that has been so good to us. So we're featuring a different small business every Friday. And today's spotlight is on a saucy pop of fun as I get to spotlight one of LA's fan favorite Korean brands. Please meet Theo Lee of KPOP Foods. Hi, Theo.
Hey. Hi,
Hello.
everyone.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, like I had briefly mentioned, you and I met through Bruin Professionals in the Century City meeting, and I had the pleasure of hearing KPOP Foods' origin story just a few weeks ago. So, for those who don't know, Theo, would you mind sharing with us how you got started with KPOP Foods?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi everyone again. I'm Theo, and K-pop Foods is a Korean food brand inviting people to discover and enjoy Korean food and flavors. My co-founder, Mike Kim, and I both actually met at UCLA Anderson back in 2015. And, I hope a lot of you have had the opportunity to go out to Korean barbecue and see that experience. Well, we were sort of known as the two guys always taking our classmates out there, and that's sort of what sparked the idea. A lot of our friends loved the food and everything, so Mike and I started talking about trying to build a more modern Korean food brand that sort of reached out to people and sort of invited them to try the food and flavors. And, we did all the research. We ended up taking it through as our senior thesis, and it was actually my grandma's recipe was our first product that created K-pop sauce. She
That's
was,
so cool.
right? She was
Yeah.
definitely very confused. She's like, you went from, doing 4 years of investment banking and finance to business school, which is great. And then she's like, you want my sauce recipe? I was like, yeah, I think there's a business behind it. And she's like, I don't know about this, but here you go.
Aw.
But we ended up launching it in 2017 in our final quarter at UCLA Anderson. Ended up raising $40,000 on Kickstarter, and that started the company. We ended up, raising some investor money and began selling nationally in 2017. And then 2018 was really the big changing point in the company. We ended up launching our second product, K-pop Sea Snacks. But also celebrity chef Chris O, he's the chef of Escala, Hanjeep, which used to be in Culver City, was the winner of the Great American Food Truck Race on the Food Network. He ended up joining our team as the head of product and product development. And with him, we ended up launching our three sauces, kimchi mayo, honey glaze, and triple X. And that really sort of put us on a whole new trajectory level.
Right.
And it was a really big point in change in the company, and we started growing really fast on Amazon. 2019 comes around, and we got our first chance in retail stores at Bristol Farms. We did really well there, and that allowed us to get into Gelson's, so we were quickly expanding. And at the start of 2020, we had sort of really big plans to really start to go into a lot of grocery stores. Obviously, and I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit later, but COVID hits, so we had to make some adjustments. But no, that's sort of been our story, and we're still, it's crazy for me to think about to think back over the past 2.5, 3 years that we're still doing this. I thought it was a lot of people thought we were kind of crazy, but we've had a lot of fun. We've learned a lot, and so always happy to share our story and hopefully inspire people to go after some of their dreams as well.
That's really awesome. You really just leaned into the idea and ran with it, huh?
Yeah. A lot of
That's
our
how the best businesses start.
yeah, I mean, you have to at a certain point you just have to go for it, right? And I'm sure you understand that being an entrepreneur yourself, that it's scary at times, but you have to really believe in yourself, know that you're going to face hurdles, and trying to just go for it and see what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love that. How how did you come up with the name K-pop Foods?
you know, Mike and I, Mike's a veteran and I'm from investment banking. So neither of us are exactly the most creative type. And I felt like we were banging our heads for about 5 hours trying to think of the name. But, at the time, Korean K-pop, with BTS was really taking off. And we wanted a name that people could really resonate and understand. And one of us said K-pop, and we were kind of like, I don't know. And then when we thought about it, we thought it really represented Korean food really well, sort of that flavor, that pop that, it really has. And we were like, all right, let's go see if we can make a name out of it. And next thing you know, we were able to register it and everything. So we sort of said, all right, that's our name, and we'll run with it.
I love that. Well, that brings us to one of the questions that we were thinking about asking you. What do you think about this Korean culture takeover that has extended beyond Korea, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, to be honest. I remember being, I went to UCLA undergrad as well and graduated in 2011. And even though I was in LA, I didn't see Korean culture really taking off yet. And growing up, I was fortunate to grow up in Argentina and Singapore. So I was never really in tune with sort of the Korean culture. And now, obviously, with K-pop Foods, I am more than ever. But I think it's awesome, right? You see BTS, you see Blackpink that just released a new music video with Selena Gomez today, which was awesome. You see Parasite, coming out and winning.
Right. That's a creepy movie. I have to admit, I was creeped out for some time.
Yeah, it definitely takes you for a ride. But I think it's awesome. I think it's great, and I think it's an opportunity, and it shows people that a lot of different cultures and religions can sort of come out and sort of be themselves, and I think people can really appreciate that. And I'm really excited and proud to see it, and I hope it this sort of keeps going.
Yeah, well, I love that. I was just with my colleague over lunch meeting, and she bought a bunch of Time magazines with BTS on the cover.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a thing.
Yep.
You took all of the magazines from the shelf. Okay, that's good.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, yeah. So I guess my question is, from your customer's perspective, what do you think it is that makes K-pop food so special to them?
I think number one is we took a lot of time in sourcing the right ingredients. We traveled to Korea. We did a lot of product testing, and not just with customers and people, but Mike and I spent a lot of time trying to find the right products and the right ingredients to make it. And number one, I think any product we come out with, Chris, myself, Mike, sort of our team, we all want to make sure it's perfect. We want to make sure it tastes great to us. That's the most important thing. I think number two is that we really wanted to make Korean food and flavors accessible. And again, in a modern approach. So being active on social media, being in places where people didn't see us. And a lot of our following actually comes from areas that don't have a huge Korean presence or Koreatown like Los Angeles.
Okay.
So making that introduction and educating customers on how they could use these flavors sort of in things they eat every single day. So we have a huge barbecue following in Texas. One of our best customers is actually out in Louisiana. He orders like $200 worth of sauce every month. Amazing.
For himself.
for himself. Like this
God.
guy just eats. He says he throws a lot of parties and he loves cooking, and he just got everyone hooked. So we at a certain point we were like, all right, we have to give you a discount because we feel bad. Like you're ordering so much sauce.
Right.
But no, I mean we're super excited, and we're glad to see people that maybe haven't had Korean food before really embrace this and really enjoy it. And I think for us as an entire team, when we get to see that, it really, it almost motivates and inspires us to keep going. And so, we're really excited about that.
I love that. All right. So you touched on it a little bit, but how has the pandemic affected business for you?
Yeah, I won't lie. Leading up to the pandemic, our team was stretched really thin. We had been, I think we had been growing like maybe 30 to 40% month over month. And it was one of those sprints where you're just like, all right, I can't even think about this. We just got to take care of this, just keep going. And we were growing, which was great. And so when the pandemic first started, especially here in LA, it actually was sort of a like relief for us because it obviously we were concerned, and thankfully all of our friends, family were safe. But
Right.
it gave us sort of like 3 days of like catch up on rest, but
Mm-hmm.
also to sort of take a step back and reanalyze things from a business perspective and
Right.
strategic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to sort of see, okay, are we doing everything the right way? Are we
Mm-hmm.
able, let's take a time and instead of strategizing for just like the next 3 days ahead of us, think about the next month, couple
Right.
weeks. Are we doing things the right way?
Right.
And some members of our team did really embrace that. Franco 14, who just signed on actually, was sort of a leader, and he's sort
Mm-hmm.
of been the person that's really spearheading our growth in wholesale and in retail stores. And he really sort of took the time to really strategize things. And right when, in May, when things started to open up, he quickly expanded us from maybe about 50 grocery stores to about 250 in a month and a half.
Wow.
And it was just that he was able to sort of understand, strategize, work with the people he could, and take advantage of the time that things were somewhat slower, and sort of
Mm-hmm.
do that. At the same time, Mike, my co-founder, and our team they've done so much work on Amazon, creating our listings, our structures, that we sort of benefited greatly from this huge online purchasing spree.
Right.
And we actually had sales really grow a lot in February, March, and April.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, things were great. Where things started to catch up to us, as I think a lot of people in the food industry have started seeing, has been on the supply chain side.
Right.
We thought it was going to be in the ingredients, but it turns out it's in the plastic.
Oh.
We source our bottles from a manufacturer, and I guess they signed on to do like 6 months of manufacturing for hand sanitizer bottles, which it makes sense. And
Right.
so, right, it sort of pushed our lead time out from 6 weeks to like 6 months.
Oh my
And so we were
gosh.
like, okay, we got to scramble.
Right.
But again, just the value of our team. We have a part-time intern, Stephanie
Mm-hmm.
Chang, who's
Mm-hmm.
actually a junior at UCLA. She ended up
Mm-hmm.
redesigning our whole packaging in like 2 weeks,
Wow.
and doing all, making sure everything was right, working with
Mm-hmm.
our team to take in some feedback and readjusting it to fit our new bottle. And,
Mm-hmm.
just our team has been so great during this
Mm-hmm.
time, and just being nimble and adjusting to the working from home life and things like
Right.
that, Mike and I wouldn't have been able to survive this without them. But thus far, we've been doing really well. So,
Mm-hmm.
we're excited. And obviously, I think a lot of people are ready for things to open up.
Yeah.
And, hopefully that happens soon.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Rachel's from my team. She's saying that we need an intern like that. We do need an intern. So if you know any interns,
Uh,
we need an intern. If anyone knows of a good intern, we need help.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a real testament to your leadership with Mike and the people on your team, and really having visions that align so that you can take that step back, reassess, and strategize moving forward too. Because
Mhm.
that unexpected time is where things go south for a business.
Yeah.
So you were able to adapt and thrive from there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and again, obviously we know that a lot of companies haven't been as fortunate, and
Right.
there's so many things going on in the world, and we're very attentive to that as well, and trying to do, things as similar to you, featuring companies on our Instagram account, trying to do stuff to make donations by doing special,
Mm-hmm.
holiday sales or special monthly campaigns.
Right.
So we realize we're very fortunate. We're really
Mm-hmm.
appreciative of our customers, but we want to make sure we're passing it along and, trying to stick up
Mm-hmm.
for, a lot of people in the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
Having Chris on our team, he tells us about what some of these restaurants are going through. And any chance as a team, if we're able to order in food, we try to do it as much as we can through DoorDash or
Right.
whatever, just to really give them a little bit of support and help them out.
Right. Right. Just pay it forward. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I get it. Good. Well, I guess what's the best way for our viewers and for people to support you right now? If they want to try what you guys have to offer, what's the best way to get their hands on some of your products that will be most profitable for you too? So it goes a long
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I think for the customers, obviously, if you live near Bristol Farms or Gelson's, all of our products are there, especially at Bristol Farms. We just launched in Super King. I think they have about 8 locations here in LA.
Yeah.
We're also, all of our stuff is available on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually, oddly enough, we're actually launching a new product, kimchi sea snacks, in about 2 weeks. It'll be
Oh.
available on kpopfoods.com and on Amazon. So please keep an
Mm-hmm.
eye out for it. I think
Okay.
people will be really impressed. We've had some really good early feedback results.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, anything like that would be a huge help. So really appreciate it. And I think to everyone, just try to lift people up
I
during
know.
this time. Try to stay connected and
Right.
stick with friends and family. And I think hopefully we'll get out of this hopefully soon.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's just a little text here and there, just telling someone that you're thinking about them, that you want to support them, an order from a local business, all of that makes a difference. So
Goes a long
love
way.
it. Yeah, it really does. Well, thanks,
Yeah,
Leo or Theo. I really appreciate you joining me today. Our
absolutely.
handyman's name is Leo, and I was just talking to him, so your name gets mixed up with Leo now.
No problem. Thank you
Well,
again so much for having me.
absolutely. You're so welcome. Thank you so much. And we're really pulling for K-pop Foods to continue to grow and thrive. Let us know how we can
Awesome.
support you. We're happy to do so. All
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
right. You're welcome. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye.